Hi, welcome to Atmaswast. And today's topic is the second food update, taking off from the last week where I talked about, reevaluating ultra-processed foods or UPFs. Today, we're going to talk about healthy nutrition for longevity, deconstructing the 2024 ICMR-NIN Dietary Guidelines. And this is the first part of that. So welcome to Atmaswast, the guide to the science and art of aging healthfully. This is the companion website to the book, which was published 4 months ago and lists the 15-point guide to live long healthy. I'm Bhavin Jankaria, a radiologist and physician in practice for the last 30-odd years. And the aim of Atmaswast is to understand how to live long healthy and age healthfully with the resources around you as far as possible without being dependent on the healthcare system. The site is free, but to read some of the articles, you may need to subscribe with your email ID. The whole point is the guide to live long healthy, which is a 15-point guide. It is a dynamic guide that changes based upon new evidence. This is the short one. And then for each of these, you will find more. So for example, when we talk about food, there are further guidelines that we go through. But today, we're going to talk about the dietary guidelines for Indians published by the ICMR and the NIN earlier this year. And it is a comprehensive set of 17 guidelines related to nutrition for Indians. Now, if you exclude infants, children, lactating, pregnant women, old and infirm, as well as guidelines related to physical activity and a healthy lifestyle, which I believe I have covered better in my website than here, we come up with 10 nutrition recommendations and guidelines that are quite comprehensive and good. So the first is eat a variety of foods to ensure a balanced diet. Second is eat plenty of vegetables and legumes. Third is use oils, fats in moderation. Fourth is obtain proteins and amino acids through combinations of foods, but avoid supplements. Fifth is restrict salt intake. Sixth is consume safe and clean foods, which is important in the Indian context. Seventh is adopt appropriate pre-cooking and cooking methods. Eighth is drink adequate quantity of water. Nine is minimize fat, sugar, salt, and UPFs. And 10th is read information on food labels. But then that makes you think that this set of guidelines is really focused on the upper middle class, rich and the educated, and could exclude a large number of Indians. But we'll discuss that next week in the second part. So the first guideline is eat a variety of foods to ensure a balanced diet. That's the plate that they have constructed, which is very good. I mean, from a vegetarian perspective, it has everything that you need to maintain a balanced diet. And then they dive further into this. So including non-starchy fresh vegetables, at least 50% of cereals as whole grains, and so on and so forth. And I'm not going to go into details of each one of these. They're all here for you to read, or you can read them in the article on my website, or you could just Google for the document and download the PDF, which is available. So, just run through all of these. But all of these things make a lot of common sense. Fundamentally, restrictive diets or diets focused on single food items don't work because they're not balanced and because their focus is weight loss and slimming and not a long health span. So you can see here a couple creating, complete keto diet, but that makes no sense. And it's not a good way to eat for the rest of your life. I mean, for that, you just need a balanced diet in our Atmaswast quest to live long healthy. The second guideline, which is again very, very sensible, is eat plenty of vegetables and legumes. And I talked about this in March 2021, where in fact 3 years ago, just 3 months into the website, I looked at an article from JACC, that's the Journal of American College of Cardiology, which showed an analysis that eating fruits and vegetables, at least 4 or 5 portions, reduced mortality hazard by almost 30%. And I said this, I said eating 2 to 3 portions of fruits and 2 to 3 portions of vegetables a day will allow us to live longer and healthier, as simple as that. And while an apple a day may not keep the doctor away, 1 apple, 1 banana, 1 cup of grapes, a half cup of bhindi, and a half cup of palak will definitely help keep the doctor away. And there's been a recent paper in circulation, which again looked at the portfolio diet over, it was mainly from the nurses study, and then they kind of looked at multiple data points, and they've clearly shown that a diet rich in fruits and vegetables reduces coronary artery, cardiovascular risk, and stroke risk, with the caveat that the population they studied is very reasonably well-to-do, very well educated, etc. The third guideline is use oils, fats in moderation, and choose a variety of oil, seeds, nuts, etc. And here it really dives down into detail regarding fats, regarding PUFA, omega-3, ghee, vanaspati, etc. So if you're interested in this, then do go through the guidelines in detail. I'll just direct you to an article that I wrote 2 years ago in 2022, where for me, the issue was, do I, as a vegetarian, need omega-3 supplementation? Because we don't really get it easily in our foods. For example, eating walnuts, flaxseed, etc., does not really seem to improve health parameters when you increase your ALA. Whereas if you increase EPA, DHA, then apparently that might help. However, I've stopped. I tried the supplementation for a year, but I think the whole point is there is no data that shows that supplementation makes a difference, number one. Number two, I also use the Lindy effect. I mean, if vegetarians in India have been living long, healthy, my parents, my uncles, etc., without any problems, without any need for extra omega-3 supplementation, I would assume that our food actually does take care of it, but maybe we're not aware of how that happens. And so I refuse to take supplementation for anything where the data is not absolutely 100% convincing. So this guideline is just, in a way, a continuation of the earlier guideline focusing on plants and legumes, but it tells you to add nuts and avoid trans fats. And of course, if you eat meat and fish, then just continue to do that as well. The fourth guideline is obtain good quality proteins and essential amino acids through an appropriate combination of foods. And again, the guideline dives into details related to amino acids and portions of cereals versus pulses, etc. And I think that's fine. But as vegetarians, whatever you do, getting a protein intake of over 50 grams without supplements is tough. And whatever supplements you try, plant, whey protein, they're not easy to digest. And I think while this is not a plug, the last few weeks I've found these Amul protein, 15-gram protein buttermilk lassis as a good alternative. They're not very high calorie, and unless you dislike dairy products, I think these are a good protein source. Because at the most you'll get 24 grams from using a whey or a protein supplement, and then you could just do this. So obviously, if you're a regular meat and fish eater, then none of this is really an issue. While I'll cover the meaning of all this in a more comprehensive manner next week, what does this so far mean for you and I? A plant-based food plan is healthier than a completely meat and fish-based plan. So what you're saying is that even if you eat, what I'm saying is even if you eat meat and fish, make sure that that's not your primary food plan, right? So it's absolutely fine to eat meat and fish, but it should still be a predominantly plant-based diet. Adequate fruits, nutrition, nuts with dairy in some form, and fattest diets don't work. You just need to eat your food. You need between 1,800 and 2,500 calories per day, depending on your activity level, your height, weight, etc. And you just need a balanced diet. Why Atmaswast? Because being healthy is much more than mere absence of sickness. There's more to health than healthcare. It's your responsibility. And no one but you yourself can ensure that you live a long life healthy with a long health span and lifespan. That's the book. See, everything that I do with Atmaswast is free. The book costs, and therefore the book has a price point. But that's pretty much all there is to it. You could just subscribe to atmaswast.com to stay updated. Thank you so much for listening.